Huh. I wonder if those are actually 3D graphics or it's just rendered to look like 3D. And one of the all-time great title screens ever. Just the graphic design, the background, the music. Like, oh, that is good. Who's that? Uh-huh. I'm pretty sure that's pronounced Agnem, by the way. You know, if I listened to all the voices I heard in my head when I slept, I would do some pretty weird things. Well, my dad told me to stay put, so might as well run around the house for a little bit. So, good time to talk about the controls, though. All we got right now is movement. And it definitely feels a lot better than it did in the original Zelda game. And you can actually move in 8 directions. One thing I really like is that if you're moving in one direction and you push a direction on either side, you'll actually strafe side to side, which can be really helpful. You can also pick up items now, which you can even use to throw at enemies, which is neat. Let's see what's in this chest. A lantern, gonna need that. Well, game's not gonna go anywhere if I don't disobey my father, so here we go. Some pretty impressive graphics for the time, too. Like, compared to the last couple of Zelda games, this is really impressive. I especially like Link's walking animation here. I don't know, there's just something amusing about it, like he's just scampering about. The voice in my head was saying that there is a secret passage here. And it's pretty clearly marked, isn't it? That's one thing that A Link to the Past is a lot better about than the first game. It highlights secrets in the game a lot more than the first game did. Uh-oh. You know, I'm wondering, did Link's father here get the same telepathic message? Is that what's going on here? Now we get our sword, and now the game really begins. So here's another area where A Link to the Past sees some improvements on the first game. So in the first game, whenever Link would attack, he would just stab his sword out in front of him. But in this game, he'll actually swing it from side to side. So rather than only being able to hit what is directly in front of him, he can actually hit what's, in the 3 spaces in front of him, what's directly in front of him and to the side, which, yeah, is a really good feature. I love it. You can also hold the button, and if you run into an enemy like this, you'll stab him, or you can release it and do Link's trademark spin attack. This was the first game to introduce that, so that's a big inclusion. Definitely a lot more variety than the previous game already, just based on this. There's a bit of skill to the combat involved too. So the enemies, as they come at you, they'll try to defend from your sword strike, so you need to try to get on the side where their sword isn't, otherwise they're going to block you. Okay, so here's a way down. That's something else that A Link to the Past added to the formula. It was the first game in the series to actually have multi-layer palace design. And a lot of it can be really intricate too. Like, oftentimes you have to think in the 3rd dimension to handle everything. So, like, you could be on one floor, then push an item off that floor, and then have to go down to the lower floor to further interact with it, which, it's funny to think that there's a SNES game out there that is working with 2D graphics, but is thinking in 3D. I mean, well done, Miyamoto. Oh, I love this bit. See ya, guy. Boomerang. Whoop, wrong button. I do like how when you go into your items menu, all you gotta do is just bring the cursor to the item you want instead of having to push a button to select it. That's nice. Boomerang, basically your first projectile weapon, though it really only serves the purpose of stunning enemies. Still, it has its uses. Hey, you stay away. Whoa. Whoop. Does this count as our first boss fight? I would say no, because he went down a little too easily. And now we got Zelda. I think this is the first game in the series where you actually get to interact with her in a more meaningful way, as opposed to her just being the damsel in distress. Not that she has a whole lot of character here. While it is true that A Link to the Past does incorporate a lot more story than most games at the time, it is still pretty basic stuff. Basically, you're the chosen one, go save the hero, go save the day, kid. But there is lore, there is characterization, which was uncommon for the time, so you do gotta give it props for that. See, like, here's another example of them being a bit more clear with secrets in this game. In the previous Zelda game, if there was something you could bomb, like, you basically just had to guess where the breakable wall is, but here you can very clearly see it. Unfortunately, I don't have bombs right now, so if I wanted to get in there, I'd have to come back later. Who else could have done it? Why is it that wizards always want to release some kind of evil seal? If he has the power to cast a spell over the king's men, why does he need to unleash Ganon? Now, they're giving me my big mission statement for the game, which is to find the Master Sword. Unfortunately, he doesn't know where the Master Sword is, so I gotta go talk to someone who does. Once again, first game in the series to mention the Master Sword, which would become an iconic part of the franchise moving forward. Now the game opens up, and you can essentially go where you want. Another big innovation is that you actually have a map screen now. You can keep track of where you are. Like, that was one of the biggest oversights with the original Zelda game. Like, you have an open-ended game like this, like, give us the map screen so we can keep track of where we are. I also like how, as the game goes on, they mark important locations on your map, so I very clearly know where I need to go. I don't need to go screw around forever until I find it. You also have the fortune teller here, who, if you don't know where you're going, you can talk to this guy, and he'll give you a hint on what you should be doing, which, again, is just really good for pacing. Like, the game does everything it needs to keep you on the right track. None of that obtuse or secretive design of the previous two Zelda games is in A Link to the Past. You can play this game without a guide and still get through it just fine. Alright, so I need to find some kind of elder. Well, that's not helpful at all. Also sort of giving you a good idea of how to... No, work with progression here, because now it's telling me to talk to everyone in the village to try and figure out where I need to go next. Sort of encouraging players to check back with all the NPCs in the game, because they might have important information for them moving forward. Well, someone has to be searching for the sword now. Trouble's afoot. Okay, so now I gotta find a bunch of pendants. Oh. Alright, so gotta go get the first one, I suppose. Okay, so now it's clear what I need to do. I need to find the Master Sword, but before I can do that, I need to get the 3 pendants. And this is something that has also become standard for the Zelda series moving forward. How most Zelda games work is, for the first half of the game, there are 3 locations you need to travel to, collect some kind of item, and, that'll give you access to something like the Master Sword, which you'll then use for the second half of the game, where you have to go to 3 more locations. This would be the standard for the series up until the release of Breath of the Wild, so that is a testament to how tight the design of Link to the Past is. The fact that they used that same formula for so many years. And now we got some Indiana Jones style traps to dodge. Oh, this should be interesting. Yeah, I can get through there pretty easily. One of the ways that you know a game has held up pretty well in my experience is if it feels just as good to play with the directional stick as it does with the D-pad. Which, it does feel pretty good to play this with the joystick. Good stuff. Alright. Really, playing this game, what I'm really taken aback by is just the overall pace of it. For an exploration-heavy game, it really does move at a nice brisk pace. Okay, so they were protecting this. And there's my big boss key. One thing that is a little confusing about this game compared to newer ones is that the big boss key has multiple uses, whereas in newer games, the big boss key really only opens up the door to the final boss, so... Yeah, be sure to keep that in mind if you're playing this. I remember when I first played A Link to the Past, I was stuck on this level for a good long while because I thought there was another boss key that I needed. That one is immune to my sword, so I'm gonna have to use the bow on him. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Are these dead? Oh, no. Yeah, not much to it. You just gotta avoid getting hit and shoot them with the bow and arrow. Whoop. Nothing to it. Got our first pendant here. Hell yeah. There's that music again. God, that's soothing. It's like the save rooms in Resident Evil. It's great. Grab some fairies, get my health back. Can't go that way. Let's head this way. Maybe there's another way I can get in there. And there is. See a nice crack in the wall? Blow it up. And now I can get the loot. The ice rod. Well, let's give this thing a try. Well, that's certainly useful. Should probably use that sparingly, though. What you got, guy? Man, that's kind of like in Zelda 4, I am error. I can't read that. Oh, there's another old man over here. Agna? Agna? I don't even know why I bother. Okay, so to move further, I need to find some kind of book that will translate that language for me. So I need to visit a library, he said. How do I get this book up here? Oh, I know. Gungala! Yeah. Alright, I'd say that's a good place to stop. Okay, so A Link to the Past. Dude, this is a phenomenal game for 1992. While the story isn't as deep as modern games, it is still impressive. There's so much to it in such an old game, in a time period where story was really just context in gaming. The presentation is top-notch, with lots of charming animations, a varied world, and a huge game world as well. Definitely feels more organic than the first couple of games. The music is great as well, and the gameplay is just tweaked in all the right ways. This just improves upon every single little aspect of the original Zelda game, while also incorporating some meaningful elements from The Legend of Zelda 2. It's no wonder this game was so heavily revered when it came out, because it really is something special, even today. Definitely recommend this, especially if you are a big fan of the Zelda series. If you have a Nintendo Switch, you probably have a Switch Online. Be sure to check it out. It is very easy to play on there, and if it gets too hard, you have that wonderful rewind mechanic too.